Hi. Today's me. Today is June 4th. June 4th? Yeah, today's June 4th, meaning that I'm doing topic 4 and of this, 30-day vlog, blog, blah blah challenge. And the topic for today is favorite book. Now, I love to read. Lately, because I've been, my job is, so it's not as taxing as, say, like when I was working last year. Whew, now I work, whatever, and I actually just finished up the school year. So I read about, being a slow reader, I read about 3 books a week, maybe. I try to. And 99.9999% of the time in English. Try to read French books, and actually I just got a load from one of the teachers at my school, but mostly it's in English. Anyways, my favorite book is actually 2 books. Pride and Prejudice I mentioned in the favorite movie video because it's Pride and Prejudice. I actually first read Pride and Prejudice in high school. I think it was my junior year, where yeah, it was AP Lang class, and I tell you that was the easiest that particular book reading venture that I ever got. I remember taking the quiz, the reading quizzes or whatever, just to kind of make sure you've got the gist of the book. And I remember giving all these unnecessary details. The teacher would be like, what did Darcy say to blah, blah, blah? And I was like, well, quote, quote. I love the book so much. Before that, I mostly read, I've always been sci-fi nerd. I was really big into R.L. Stine. And mostly epic fantasy, I think. But when I read Pride and Prejudice, I was like, oh, it touched my inner girly soul. And ever since then, I've just been on a Jane Austen train. Yeah, pretty, solid for Jane. Even, yeah. I like all of her other books, and so that's how I roll. My other favorite book, which I'd probably say, if someone were to ask me, hey, Alicia, what's your favorite book? I would say this one is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. That book to me is just perfect, pitch perfect. Not a word is, wasted. It's just perfect. I first read that, I think, in high school as well. And it was recommended by, I want to say it was one of my friends, or maybe even my boyfriend at the time. But that book was the bomb hizzle dizzle. Let me tell you, if you don't know what Orson Scott Card's Ender's Game is about, it's a book about a group of children. Basically, it takes place in a world that's not too far from our future. So just not so distant future, maybe 50 years or so, and it's a slightly different world in which overpopulation has caused certain problems. Actually, it's a different world, yeah, because there's been some stuff that happened, like alien invasions and stuff. But in this world, the world has become overpopulated to the point where there are caps placed on how many children you can have, kind of like, China style, but this is throughout the entire world. So one can't have, certainly not more than 2 kids. 1 child, fine. 2 kids, no, unless you have some special, okay from the government. And 3 kids, no. So the book takes place following a 3rd child, a boy that was born 3rd to the family. So he's already, got all sorts of stigmas and prejudices against him. And he is 6 years old when the book starts. The book takes place from his being age 6. His name is Andrew for as a nickname. From age 6 to age, what, 9, 10? Yeah. So it's all about kids in the position of having to become warriors. These kids, this child, because he's brilliant, he was born as a third because of his the family's predilection for giving birth to smart kids. He's forced to become a part of a training program for children where they use war games to get kids thinking like brutal killers, brutal, you know, masterminds, if you will. And I remember when I first read that book, I thought, damn, like this touches on everything I kind of feel like as a not yet grown up, how adults just kind of try to shape your world, and even though sometimes you don't feel, I mean, you know how you feel when you're a teenager, the typical teenage angst and blah blah blah, but it goes deeper than that. Yeah, it really understands the child mind, even though the book was conceived by a man who was well into his adulthood, and a Mormon at that. Though don't take that to be a reason not to read the book. If you're like, oh yeah, it's written by a Mormon author, that has nothing to do with the book, or not that it has nothing to do with the book. I'm sure the guy, takes his religion very seriously, but you don't read the book thinking like, oh, these are Mormon people. No, it's quite brutal. It's about kids, like basically fighting and sometimes killing each other, Lord of the Flies style. But it is an amazing, amazing book. And if you haven't read it, if you haven't heard of it, I implore you to read the book. I wanted to get the book and give it away to some of the students at my school, but unfortunately I can't find the book out here. Apparently Orson Scott Card is just not well known. Or just not liked. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, that was exceptionally long, 7 minutes, but that's my deal. Pride and Prejudice and Ender's Flippin' Game. It's part of a series, but Ender's Game is all you really need to worry about. There is a parallel novel, so it's basically the same novel but from a different character's perspective, and it is almost as good as Ender's Game. It's called Ender's Shadow. I cried at the end of both books like a freaking baby, at the end of both books. I don't know if that was the intention for it to be like, heart-wrenching, but I cried. Anyways, not like that'll make you read the book, but okay. Peace.